shining bright like stars in the sky. No chains can hold us, watch us fly high. With every beat, our spirits ignite. Together we dance, it's our time tonight. In sync and harmony, feel the vibe. Stay together, we rule the world. Can't hold us back, no.
Welcome. We are here with the amazing Danielle Joseph and the amazing Flo Scott. I am so excited to get into this episode because we're going to have such a good conversation. I think the culmination of both of your experiences really has been inspiring, and that's why I said, when I spoke to Danielle, I said, I have to get you both on. Two women leaders, two executives in their own right, people that love this community and love to help women, love to help people grow, and I'm just inspired that you all are here. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And please introduce yourself to our audience who have that are looking to know you more.
Thanks for having us, Sandra. My name's Danielle Joseph. I work with the Chamber of Commerce.
Awesome.
Hi, thanks again, Sandra. I'm Flo Scott. I'm the chair of the Women's Business Council with the Chamber. So I work with Danielle a lot.
I love that. I love that. So I want to get into the first question. So could both of you kind of briefly share your experience and how you got to the positions that you got to when you're really looking at it from a perspective of a young professional trying to make it, or somebody that is maybe transitioning or trying to get into another career?
So I started at the Chamber right out of college. I had been working always since I was like 13, 14 years old, babysitting and in restaurants. But I started at the Chamber. We opened our Easton office and just started as an admin and really loved working with small businesses. And I've been at the Chamber for almost 22 years now in different roles.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, I can't imagine the Chamber without Danielle Joseph.
Oh,
and we love everybody at the Chamber, too. Shout out to the Chamber. And PNC Bank. Shout out to PNC Bank. I've been banking with PNC for a long, long time.
Me too.
I love it.
Since I was 16.
Amazing. So tell me a little bit about your journey.
Sure. And I've been fortunate to work with Danielle for about a decade now. So
Wow.
It's been a great journey being a partner to the Chamber. So I'm a California native, and I started as a journalist in my career and moved to the Lehigh Valley in 2012. So I've been here for over a decade. And transitioned over into public relations while working with Coordinated Health, which was a local health network that now is part of Lehigh Valley Health Network, our sponsor for today.
Yes.
Yep. So I was there for a little while. Then I got the opportunity to go to the Philadelphia International Airport. There I served as a communications director, and then made my way over to PNC Bank, which is where I am now as a communications director.
That's incredible. I mean, really, when you think about your roles and how much you've grown from, just an admin, or when you're fresh out of college, you moved all the way from California. So, I mean, the winters have probably, have been a little bit gruesome here, but we're grateful that you're here. And I think there's something to be said about that when it comes to the Lehigh Valley. Tell me something special about the Lehigh Valley. Tell me something that you see as a growing area in Lehigh Valley that you all want to share with us today.
Sure. I'll hop in on that. So the Lehigh Valley is the third largest region in the state of Pennsylvania. I've had the privilege of working in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, the two largest markets, and I can tell you that compared to those two, Lehigh Valley is punching above its weight. It is holding its own in terms of the economy, in terms of the quality of talent here. And so I am such a big fan of the region, and I'm very happy to still be working here.
That's amazing. I love that. What about you, Danielle?
So I've been here since birth. I did a brief stint at NYU for 2 days and then came back. I did not realize how much I did love the Lehigh Valley. People are different here, and I was in New York. People are walking the street. They don't look at you. They don't look at you in the eye. People care about people in the Lehigh Valley, and that's something that's kept me here.
That's beautiful.
Amen.
Yeah. And I think that's the truth, too. It's about relationships. And I think the one thing that I really sincerely love about Lehigh Valley is the fact that I'm able to call people up if I need something, right? If I need help, I know where to find it. And if I don't know how to find it, someone will connect me to it. So I think that's the beautiful thing about Lehigh Valley. So tell me a little bit, many women are really facing some unique issues and situations now and always, right? But tell me some things that you really, on your leadership journey, and some of those specific challenges that you think that we can relate to this next generation or to women in general.
Okay. So I started in leadership at a really young age.
Yeah.
I started right out of college, and then within 2 years, I was leading councils. So I think that was a challenge in itself to lead folks that have a lot more experience than you do and are older than you, and have them understand that, hey, I know what I'm doing.
Yes.
So I leaned on the support. 2 years into my job, I started working with the Small Business Council and the Women's Business Council, and got so many mentors, just not even asking, just folks, they want to see you succeed.
Yeah.
So I absorbed everything that I could from the volunteers that I worked with that helped grow me into the professional I am today.
I love that. What about you, Scott?
So when I was coming up in the journalism community, I really thought that was going to be my career. And as we know, the industry has changed a lot over the past 10, 20 years. And so I had to make a pivot. And I think that is common for younger generations now, that, the career you start with is not necessarily the one that you will end in.
That's right.
And that ability to be flexible has been super important throughout my career. And it's the same thing that I preach to younger generations. It's the same thing I tell my daughter.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think flexibility is really important right now, especially in these times, right? We're seeing things kind of transform, right? And we're seeing a lot of really awesome things with some matriculations, but there's also some really dark things that are happening. And I think we need to be able to look at it with the glass half full, right? And I think it's hard for our neighbors to feel that the glass is half full. So how can you lead with empathy? Because I think that's a big thing. And I think Danielle and Flo, I've been watching you as well. You lead with empathy and you lead with encouragement and helping. How can we lean into that more?
So I think that's something that came very natural to me, I'm lucky to say, that servant leadership type of leadership. If I wouldn't expect someone to do something if I'm not going to do it with them, you know. Yeah. And the folks that I help lead, I want their buy-in completely. I feel like it's my job to make sure they have everything that they need.
Absolutely.
So when maybe some folks might not naturally be empathetic, but those are some of the things that we work on in the councils that we're working with. Just by building relationships, like you naturally start to see someone as, hey, this is like a person with me. I can see the humanity in this person. Absolutely. So I've always just naturally been a curious person that likes to make sure people are included. And I think that's what I've done my whole career, and it's worked. So far has worked out.
It has, and I think that is actually a testament of your leadership, Danielle, and it's a testament of who you are as not just a leader, but just as a human being, right? Being able to connect with you on a deeper level, and I feel like that's a lot of individuals in the community that feel the same way. And Flo, I know that's the similar situation, because where you are the president of the Women's Business Council, and you lead such a great group of women, just incredible that they give and give and give. And a lot of these young women, I remember being a chamber intern over a decade ago now, and being able to serve in that capacity and seeing the different scholarships that came through. They had me doing those scholarships, going out and fundraising.
Raffles.
That was my first.
Oh my goodness.
That was actually my first stint and fundraising was at the chamber. I just went in and just asked for those 50-50.
Yeah.
Love it.
We did a good amount.
Excellent
1,500
job.
in about 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and they said maybe this is it. But tell me a little bit about how you foresee this next year going, for example, for the Women's Business Council, and tell me some things that are coming up, things that we can get excited about, that we can start putting on our agendas, our calendars, and I would love to tell our viewers that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to start by saying the Women's Business Council is made up of 20 women who are all volunteers. And so leading them is not just a privilege on my part and an honor, but they are volunteers. So we have to be mindful of the fact that they have lives and careers that need to come through in their work with the chamber. So just an honor to be part of that. Having a baby this year definitely helped in kind of instilling that compassion with the WC members, because they got to see me at my most vulnerable. You know,
Yes.
there's never a time when a woman is more vulnerable than during pregnancy. So that's been fun. Anyway, so thank you for asking about our upcoming events. The WBC does have monthly events that you can find on our website on the Chamber. And so I'd encourage anyone who's interested in getting involved to check that page out. Our biggest event is in June, and that's our Women's Summit, at which Danielle will be able to tell you a lot more about. But I'd also encourage folks to look into our mentorship program. We have a lot of other opportunities to stay connected throughout the year. So please do check out the site.
I love that. I love that. What else do you have to add there?
We have our International Women's Day celebration every year. That's a joint partnership with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and the African American Business Leaders Council, along with the Women's Business Council. We have an excellent moderator this year, yours truly.
Yes.
No, you,
Shout
not
out.
me.
I'll tell you, this is the heart of why we celebrate women, right? This podcast was set up. This is March. This is our month, right? We should have every month, right? Everybody should have a lot of every other month, but we should be celebrated. And the amount of work that women do is just like you're saying, like pregnant women, right, are kind of, oh, she's pregnant or what? It's a vulnerable state, right? And I have a very, very personal opinion about women in the workforce that are pregnant, and I think there's more protections that need to happen around women that are pregnant, and more accommodations. And I think that if we don't fight for those accommodations, I feel like they're going to go by the wayside. So I think it's really important to always speak up and don't lose your voice. I think we were talking offline about this because that's just what we do. We just talk offline all the time. But don't lose that voice that you have. Maybe tailor it right to the audience, but don't ever lose that fire, that zeal, because sometimes I feel like in this world, right, we're not, and maybe people know way more than I do, but I feel like we need to be pressing forward in that way, especially in these interesting times. So now we want to kind of go forward and talk about a little bit corporate initiatives and community impact. So both of you work a lot with corporations in the Lehigh Valley, and we are grateful for the amount of corporations that give back to nonprofits like the Chamber, that give back to nonprofits that serve individuals that are homeless or women that are coming out of abusive relationships, or just in general, like you have LVHN and Jefferson Health Network that are really geared towards helping people stay healthy, live better, and thrive. Tell me a little bit about how we can bring mutuality. How are you seeing from a big picture, right, in our community? How are these corporations working with the nonprofits to bring a better way of living?
One of the great things about the Lehigh Valley is the connection between corporations and the nonprofit sector and the advocacy world, which is the world that Danielle leads in. And so one of the cool things about being a national corporation is that you can use local partnerships, local sponsorships to translate your priorities and your messages. PNC is a supporter of the arts, and so one of the ways that translates into the local community is through our Music Fest sponsorship and our Arts Quest partnership.
Love it.
So we are a sponsor of Stadplatz during Music Fest and PNC Plaza all throughout the year. And in doing that, PNC is able to then have that year-round presence and show that it cares a lot about this local community.
That's excellent. I love that.
We wouldn't.
Thank you to PNC.
Oh, I'm sorry. We wouldn't be able to put on the programming that we did without our corporate sponsorships. The Women's Summit, that's like something I adore that we do. That used to be 3 separate women's conferences in 2 months in the Lehigh Valley.
Wow.
And after a few years of talking and negotiation, we were able to collaborate 3 nonprofits together to put all of our resources towards one women's summit where we bring close to 1,000 people,
Incredible.
national level speakers, breakout sessions, and we have tons of corporate partnerships with that.
Absolutely.
And that help us be able to have the budget to put on an event of that caliber in the Lehigh Valley. So, and they also help us identifying experts in the fields that we need. So they help us with speakers all the time.
That's incredible. That shows the power of a tribe, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So women, we have our tribes, and we have people around us that build us up and help us to to grow and to better ourselves, especially when we're most vulnerable. I feel like I owe so much. I owe so much to my mom. I owe so much to my sisters. I owe so much to women like you and Lisa Lake Creative, who is our sponsor today too for photography. So she is, these are the moments that we look at, collaborations like how on a big scale like that, but it's also on those micro scales when we just, hey, I'm just having one of those days. Can I just pick up the phone and call who so-and-so? And they pick up. And it's that wind that keeps us moving. And I think that's the inspiration, right, that we're always leading towards. So tell me a little bit. So we talked about sponsorships. We talked about, lots of collaborations. We talked about history, right? Tell me a little bit about your backgrounds, right? I know that if, dive in as much as you want, as much as you feel free, but we like to say this is the deep end. Feel free to put your floaties on or swim as deep as you'd like. And we'd love to talk about just what makes you you, what makes you tick. And I'm excited to hear about those. Who wants to go first?
That's a good question. You got it, or you want me to go? Okay. So born and raised in Easton, Greek and Lebanese. As I look back now at my high school career, it makes sense that I'm a chamber employee. Yeah. I was friends, like I'm sure most high school kids, or most high schools have different cliques. Yeah. You have the people that play sports, the cool people, the people that might be doing, the bandos, the people that are in theater. I was friends with all of the cliques.
The social butterfly.
Yeah. I just, I could, chameleon in a good way.
Yeah,
like I would
absolutely.
take on whoever I was with and listen. Yeah. So I look now at the chamber. That's what I do for a job. Yeah. Like I'm able to sit and relate and kind of bring it back and see how we can move businesses forward, how we can move just our initiative forward. So I look at that. I'm like, huh. Yeah. And I always had that fire in my belly for things that meant a lot to me and human rights, et cetera. So I'm like, okay, I'm putting it to work here for sure.
I love that. And I definitely see that for sure, because that's how you and I click, because we're both social butterflies. And people are like, we can't pin you down. We don't know where your click are. I don't have a click. It's just, who we can relate to and who we can relate to just about anybody.
It's true.
And I think that's what makes a really good leader, is somebody that can sit down with an intern, right, and then go all the way to a board chairman or a chairwoman and be able to, communicate with them on that. So tell me, Flo, about your background, and tell me, what makes you you? What makes you tick?
Sure. Thank you for asking that. It's an interesting question. So I'm half Filipino, half Samoan.
Awesome.
As I mentioned, I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, and that really shaped who I am. I consider myself to be, pretty well connected to the world around me. I care a lot about service, as Danielle mentioned earlier. And so I was raised in a military family, and that informed my drive to always serve. And so even when I'm working, like right now, for a private corporation, I still try to volunteer my time outside of that significantly to my community and to the people, I think, who need it the most. So I am now an Army wife. So, kind of military brat, married an Army guy, makes total sense.
Hey, absolutely.
Yeah. And that also shapes who I am. It's important to me to support my husband in his career as well. So, it's just a cool kind of multi-layered experience, as we all are.
Absolutely. I love that. And hey, shout out to the kings that are supporting the queens, okay? Shout out. I mean, I shouted out my husband again, but, I have to do it again, so just to get my own brownie points here. But yes, that's exactly right. It's about the mutual respect and that mutual support, because it's in every partnership, you have to be able to give, and then even if you don't get, I know Michelle Obama said that it's not always 50-50. Right. That's the truth, absolutely. Okay? But sometimes it does feel like you're getting more than you are given, and that gratitude comes in. I want to actually pinpoint around this again. Like, gratitude is a really important theme, especially just personally for me as I'm speaking to guests, I'm speaking to people, and I want to hear about what one thing that you're grateful for in this season. Tell me one thing, and I'll start with Flo.
Yeah, for me, it's hands down the mentors that I've had along the way, and the fact that they still show up in my life on a daily basis. So a lot of the things I do in my professional career and even in my personal life, I want I try to reach out to people who I know have experienced that before so that they can help me through it.
Yeah.
And so in this season of my life, when a new mom, again, times 3, this is my 3rd child. And when I'm negotiating this really big career that I actually genuinely never thought I'd be in, I have all these different mentors that represent different parts of that life who I can go to. So if I'm like, is my baby supposed to be doing this thing? I have a pediatrician friend who I can call. And that's really cool. It just comes with age. I'm 40 now, and I have people who just have these really cool careers. And so I can reach out to them. In my professional life, I have, ethical challenges that sometimes come up, or I'll have a tricky PR situation. And I have all these peers from my past parts of my career who I can reach out to, and that is just so cool. So that's what
amazing.
I'm grateful for.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. How about you, Danielle?
That is so beautiful, Flo.
Yeah.
I have to say it's my children.
Oh.
They've taught me so much.
Yeah.
They test every part of my personality so much, and the time it doesn't feel like a good way, but they've caused me to grow and become super strong because I have no other choice but to be strong because I'm not going to give up.
Yeah.
They've taught me so much, so I'm very grateful for my children, even though sometimes it might not seem like I am. I'm so grateful.
I love that.
And they are so cute, by the way.
They really are.
you.
And I've known them
you.
when they were literal babies. And
Coming to chamber events,
I
had to figure
Yes.
that out.
Yes.
Doing it by myself, you work a lot of nights and weekends, and thank God I had the volunteers that I did because they didn't think twice about it. I have a baby in a car seat sitting at the registration table with me,
Absolutely.
Sometimes you can't get a babysitter, but you still do what you got to do. And I'm hoping that I've taught them that they see that Mom's done this and that I can't give up,
Exactly right. And I really do appreciate that deeply. I mean, I'm very, very grateful for my babies as well. And they do test you, right? But they are just joy and love. And I think, for people, and everybody has their own choice, right? We have to, we respect everybody's choice and their way of being. But for me, that's what I'm really grateful for as well, family. And I'm grateful I have to shout out my mom because she's just a rock for me. And I've been very blessed for her prayer life, that she has an amazing prayer life, and that she's taught me that, and that she's just been there. We just went to Mom. The most minor inconvenience, I can call up my mom, like, Mom, and I don't know when she's going to get sick of me, but I'm grateful for her. But, with that being said, that goes to the flexibility portion of work, right? So the work-life balance is a little wild. I know the chamber works all kinds of hours, right? Because of all of the events. How many events now? 400 events during the year?
I heard there's between 8 and 14 a week, so whatever that comes out to.
Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the chamber keeps growing, right? And I think looking at each employee and looking at their circumstance, depending on what their role is, being able to be accommodating to having that happiness where you're, sometimes you got to bring your kids. I had to bring children, my kiddos for event setup. I was like, come on, you all are coming with me. We're going to Steel Stacks. Here we go. And they enjoyed it. And again, volunteers enjoyed it. Tell our listeners how impactful that is for your direct reports and for you personally.
I think that I try my best. It's very important to be flexible because we expect the employees to be flexible with us. We have galas that go till 1 a.m. and we expect them to be right there with us, cleaning up, whatever. So flexibility is something I feel like that's an easy. Like, you need to work from home today, you work from home. You need to, start late, you start late because I'm looking at it project by project and the amount of dedication that they give to the chamber, which, like you said, tons of nights and weekends, tons of 6 a.m.s. Like, if I could give back in a way that makes their life easier, like they're going to give 100%.
Absolutely.
They have to feel like they have to know that the organization cares about them personally.
That's really good.
On the Women's Business Council, I think we have to work really hard to make sure that our volunteers feel that they can bring themselves to the work, but also that work doesn't look the same for everyone. That's right. So if you can't make it to an event, we're not going to penalize you per se, but we are going to say, how else can you show up in the way that we serve our community? And so I think that has come through a bunch of different ways this year for this particular council. They are all so driven and so thoughtful about the way that they volunteer on the council. And so you get to see their expertise show up in many different ways. And you get to see their families, their careers all come through. And I will say, we kicked off the year actually last summer by doing like a slideshow of each of the board members and having them introduce themselves, and their backgrounds, their stories, just the way that we are on this this interview.
That's awesome.
And it was really fun to just get to know people. We get to learn all these fun little facts about each other. But the key to that, I think the reason why I wanted to push us doing that was so that everyone had that empathy for each other to understand, like, hey, if this person can't come to this event or if they can't make a meeting, it's probably because insert, fill in the blank. And I think it worked. I think we are having a lot of grace for each other. And I think we are saying, just show up the way that you can.
Mm-hmm. That's so good.
Sure.
Grace is such an important part of volunteership, right? So managing a volunteer base is really important. I heard this saying one time, and it never left me. It said, if your volunteers are doing great, thank you. If your volunteers are doing okay, thank you.
That's great.
Because you have to, in that sense. These are time is the most valuable resource that we have.
More than money,
Right?
Yes.
And so being able to not burn out your volunteers, I think the Chamber does a really excellent job at that, in that being able to give the volunteers what they need and having them show up.
I think that the Women's Business Council, the volunteers hold themselves to such a high standard.
Yes.
Like, I try to make folks be more flexible with themselves, but they're really, really good.
They're ambitious.
That's it.
So ambitious.
Love it.
it. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
And
come on
I've
now.
learned so much. I
Yeah.
wanted to add in there that something that I think is truly important. I have it in my personal life, in my life at the Chamber, in my life with the Women's Business Council, just like that mentorship from different ages. Like, you always think of your mentors as older than you, whatever. Oh my God, I have so many that are like 20 years younger than me.
Absolutely.
That I learned so much from.
Absolutely.
So much. And teach me like things about life that I'm like, how are you so wise at this age? So like, never stop learning and never, I don't know. I think it's
Don't put it
just
in a
wonderful.
box,
Yes.
right? Don't put it in a box.
Yes.
A mentor has no barriers. A mentor could be a 5-year-old that says a wise word, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's really a great saying. And we're going to get into some fast, rapid questions, because we're going to get right into it here. So I'm going to direct some at Flo, and then I'm going to direct some at Danielle, and then feel free to interject, of course. So Flo, tell me a little bit, what's your favorite restaurant in the Lehigh Valley?
Oh my gosh. I'm going to say Bolit.
Okay.
But only because it is a standard. It's always going to be around, in my opinion. I think it'll always be around. It's been around for a long time. Yeah. You will always get reliable service, reliable food there. I am a big fan.
Yeah, Bolit is really good. It is amazing. All right, Danielle, what's your favorite restaurant in Lehigh Valley?
That's hard.
I know,
for the
it's really
Chamber.
hard.
I
I
can't
know.
I can't give a favorite. I work for the Chamber, but looking at me, you could tell I like everything.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, I think one of the best things about the Lehigh Valley is that there are so many different restaurants and hotels and places to eat. We're growing. We're exceeding where we need to. On your favorite time to relax, when you're relaxing at home, what do you like to do, Flo?
Ooh. So I live in the boonies.
Nice,
we have
very good.
We live in farmland, and I really enjoy hanging out with my chickens. We have
Amazing.
a bunch of chickens in our backyard.
Okay, so do you have like a whole compound? Is this what's going on? Because I am actively researching.
Totally.
My husband did not hear that at all, but I am actively researching.
Backyard chickens are legal in most communities in the
Pretty
region.
good. Love it.
So no, mine is just a suburban property, but because we live amongst the farmland, I think it's pretty normal in our community, in my neighborhood, to have chickens. And so we have 6 of them. We are getting eggs even now, which is really cool. Normally when it's the winter, they do not lay. And so the reason I bring this up is because egg prices right now are such a big controversial topic.
Yes.
But I'm like, we've got enough to kind of get by with the chickens that we've got.
Yeah,
awesome.
That's amazing. What about you, Danielle?
So if I think of like my favorite thing, I love my daughter cooks. She used to cook all the time. Now she's a teenager, so she's like,
yeah.
I love like finishing up work, work while she's making dinner and just chilling on the couch, like watching
amazing.
videos or something while she's making dinner. It's like my favorite thing. And then we eat dinner together as a family.
That is so
that's
beautiful.
Cool.
So good.
That's beautiful. Well, it's been an incredible ride with you both. And thank you for allowing us the opportunity to kind of see a sneak peek into you, right? Into what you do in your work. And I can't thank you enough. And I'm excited for the world to see this and be able to get inspired as much as we have. So thanks again.
No chains can hold us, watch us fly high. With every beat, our spirits ignite. Together we dance, it's our time tonight. In sync and